Okay, so this is probably a totally unnecessary video because I don't think anybody wants to do this. So the purpose for why I wanted to do this video is I wanted to install Windows 11 24H2, so the newest version, on Hyper-V into a virtual machine. So I went the normal way with the virtual DVD, loaded the ISO in there, started up, but obviously Windows 11 gave me the unsupported hardware error. So I thought, okay, obviously. So I know Rufus sidesteps that. So if I create a flash drive with Rufus and Windows 11, it should sidestep that. But I thought, okay, how do you even boot Hyper-V, a virtual machine with a flash drive now? So, I mean, if I open Hyper-V, it's not very obvious. So I know you have to enable the guest editions, guest services. So that will enable shared folders and I suppose USB, pick up USB sticks, flash drives. So I've enabled that, but then like I'm not very familiar with Hyper-V. I've used it years back, but I use VMware and obviously VirtualBox. And if you come to Hyper-V settings, I just don't know where to actually add a USB. So add hardware, you would think it's in there. So obviously it's only a SCSI controller, so you can add a SCSI controller. But then, see, I have two here, so they give you a default one. This one I've added. So they give you a default one, and you can actually add a hard drive, a DVD drive, or a shared drive. So if you add a hard drive, it just creates another hard drive, and you can then specify the location where you want it. But then this physical hard disk is grayed out. So I thought, okay, yeah, maybe if this wasn't grayed out, the USB would be in there that I can select and it will boot from the USB, but it's grayed out. So I've created another SCSI drive and I added another drive, but this was grayed out. So if you create a new one, it is definitely grayed out. And obviously I didn't read this message, so after a while I just check, okay, maybe I should read this message. So if a physical hard disk you want to use is not listed, make sure that the disk is offline. Okay, so it has to be offline to kind of enable that, and you have to do it in disk management. So I went to disk management, and obviously let me just show you. So my stick is my flash drive is here, so it's E, it's plugged in, this is it. And if you right click, there's no offline option. So I found out that Windows doesn't allow flash drives to be offline as far as I can know. So there was no ways to actually make it offline. Even if I go there, nothing. Just can't offline it. I thought, okay, how the hell am I gonna do this now? To select that, so I thought, okay, I have to offline it, and you can only offline mass storage like hard drives, yeah, extra hard drives. If I look at my D drive, it's got an offline. I don't know why it's grayed out. Maybe because there was a operating system on here before. Anyway, I thought, okay, let's create a virtual hard drive on Windows, because you can offline a virtual hard drive, but I still need to obviously Rufus doesn't pick up hard drives, only USB drives. So I'm just gonna have to put it on the USB drive. So I went disk management, I said create VHD, so virtual hard drive. Why is this grayed out now? Is there a reason? Oh, okay. So create VHD. So I said browse location. So specify the virtual hard disk location on the machine. Browse, and I selected my USB. And I saved that virtual hard drive inside the USB. There it is, USB.bhd. So I put it on there. I've selected the flash drive. Then I've selected, so my flash drive is 14 gig in size. So I thought, okay, I only need about 10 gig just to play it safe for Windows 11 to install. I mean, for Rufus to install, prepare the stick with Windows 11. So I just say 10 gig, 10 GB, and I chose VHD, but you can actually choose VHDX because Hyper-V uses VHDX by default. So it's actually better to use VHDX. Fixed size, and I said okay, and like you can see, I've created. Well, it doesn't show up now because it's offline. It created that VHD inside the flash drive. So it took 10 gigs of the flash drive for itself, like a partition almost, you can say. So then it created this part here. So this is actually that VHD file, your virtual hard drive inside this one. So it's it's kind of confusing, but anyway, now it's disk management. See, this is a hard drive, so I can actually offline it. So this, as you can see, I can bring it online again. So I just switch it offline. And what's the next step now? Then you go back to Hyper-V, and then in the second SCSI controller, second hard drive that you've created, you can actually now select this because it's usually on there. So this will open up as soon as you offline that VHD on the flash drive. And now I can actually select that 10 gig. There it is, 10 gig that I've created. I can actually select that. So this is the second drive. So let me just think now. In Hyper-V, this is actually a hard drive. It's not a flash drive that was prepared with the Windows file. So the only thing Hyper-V is concerned, or what Hyper-V is seeing, is a hard drive, a physical hard disk with Windows files on it, and it's bootable. So it doesn't see it as a flash drive. And but I had to do it that way because Rufus, obviously. So if you come to Rufus only sees flash drives again. But if you create that VHD onto the flash drive, it actually picked it up. So there's the 10 gig I've created. So that's the VHD file, and this is the rest of the flash drive, the 16 gig. So this is E, and that one should be F. And yeah, I just went through the steps. Obviously, select my ISO. It was the Windows 11 24H2. It filled in all the other things. I started it, and it actually finished. It's a miracle. So, but before you offline it, obviously make the Rufus key first. Then when you're finished, you come to disk management, and then you offline it so that you can pick it up in Hyper-V. Where's the settings now? then it will pick it up here with the finished Rufus files, Windows files. Pick it up, and oh yeah, and then the other thing is, because yeah, you come to security and you disable enable secure boot. This was on and it didn't want to work, just threw an error. So disable your secure boot, and let's see if it goes. I did test it. So obviously if you start this Windows now, this virtual drive, okay, let's go here. Right, starting Microsoft Windows Boot Manager. Let's just wait for it. There it goes. My goodness, I thought, oh, this is gonna take me forever, or it's impossible. So if I run through this quickly, yeah, that, no product key. So it should throw that error after the agreement. So pro, next, agreement. So after this, it should throw the hardware incompatibility error. You better find it now. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff here, so many partitions. Anyway, so that is the installation of files. That's that VHD, and this is obviously the virtual hard disk in Hyper-V. So let's just say next. Install Windows 11 Pro, keep nothing. Install. Oh my god, it goes. Oh my god, it goes. So, I mean, nobody's gonna do this, but it's nice to actually have figured this out. Because obviously Microsoft is always so convoluted and difficult. So I'll show you quickly that there is there's no virtual CD drive even added here. So it's definitely running from this physical hard disk. It says that's so confusing. It says here physical hard disk, but it's a VHD, which is a virtual hard drive of Windows that I've created on a flash drive. My god. And there's the virtual hard drive in Hyper-V, so there is definitely no CD drive. If you add a CD drive, you have to go to hard. You have to go to one of the SCSI controllers. Add it here, so it'll add it here. So under that drive, and then this is the normal way of installing stuff. Image file, you can just add your ISO here, but obviously you're gonna throw me that hardware incompatibility error if I do this, so I had to do it with Rufus. So yeah, this is the video. Pretty strange. Is it still running? Yeah, that's it. Okay.